Hey guys, thank you for watching the SlatRock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And if you've already done so, just make sure that it's still active. Today we present you 18 tiny yet important details only hardcore WWE fans noticed. Number 18. WWE recycled Ernest Miller's music. When the WWE purchased WCW, they got plenty of the defunct company's top stars and some smaller ones. One star they picked up was Ernest the Cat Miller, who joined WWE in 2002 with a very familiar theme. Busting a move to the song Somebody Call My Mama, Miller's time in WWE was forgettable, and he was released in February 2004. Flash forward years later, and despite vignettes showing the return of Brodus Clay as the monster heel he once was, Clay returned in January 2012 as the Funkasaurus, using the same theme. As the Funkasaurus, Clay certainly lasted longer in WWE than Miller, but was ultimately let go in June 2014 and joined Impact later that year. Number 17. Jillian Hall's bad singing was a rib. Despite being an accomplished competitor in OVW, Jillian Hall's time on the main roster was lackluster, holding the Divas Championship for a matter of minutes. She is perhaps best remembered for her gimmick as a pop diva who wrongly believed she could sing, a character many fans thought was a parody of Britney Spears. In fact, the character was a joke on Brooke Hogan, the daughter of the Hulkster, who despite being given huge opportunities by reality shows and studio labels, failed to make it as a singer. The WWE still had heat with Hulk for his abrupt departure in 2006, and had Hall parody the younger Hogan as a petty insult against the former world champion. Number 16. Triple H's patches at WrestleMania 34. When Triple H entered his 18th WrestleMania in 2018, the game arrived in style, alongside wife Stephanie for their mixed tag match against Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. And whilst the entrance was a fitting arrival for the King of Kings, it was the little details fans may have missed that made it stand out. On the game's jacket, there were certain patches that alluded to some of his passions, including NXT, the brand that he has built to become, in many fans' opinions, the best thing in WWE today. There was also a patch for Motorhead, the legendary band that Triple H is a huge fan of and who provided him with his iconic themes. Number 15. The origins of Simon Dean. It's pretty safe to say that the career of Simon Dean was never going to set the world on fire. Debuting during the Ruthless Aggression era, fans will remember Dean as the fitness guru who tried to sell his own brand of weight loss products known as the Simon System. What many fans may not know about Dean is that his name was a nod to the legendary Dean Malenko, whose real name is Dean Simon. A fun tribute to one of the most underrated workhorses of all time, Malenko has since transitioned to a backstage role, whilst Simon Dean later returned to his original ECW name of Nova when the Blue World Order reformed. Number 14. The Curse of Ric Flair's Red Trunks. Ric Flair is considered by many the greatest wrestler of all time, and rightly so. A 16-time world champion, Flair is also a former Royal Rumble winner and has had a plethora of great matches. Something you may not have noticed in those matches is that Flair often lost high-profile matches when wearing red, including his WrestleMania 8 WWF title loss to Randy Savage. During the early 90s, Flair would often wear blue trunks for huge wins and red for the losses. Whilst we can't say for certain if this was deliberate, it's ironic that the Nature Boy wore blue in his WrestleMania 24 retirement match against Shawn Michaels. Number 13. Eric Bischoff referenced Sid's scissors incident. Years before he would go psycho in the WWF, Sid Vicious was already a loose cannon in WCW and would often fly off the handles both on and off screen. During a UK tour in 1993, Vicious would live up to his name, as during a scuffle with Arn Anderson, he stabbed the legendary Horseman 20 times with a pair of scissors, though Arn miraculously survived. After being fired due to the incident, Sid would return to WCW years later, and was a key player in the feud between the New Blood and the Millionaires Club. After being reluctant to forfeit the WCW World title, Eric Bischoff asked Sid on live TV if he was going to fetch a pair of scissors, A harsh statement, though many fans at the time didn't know the context. Number 12. Dolph Ziggler calls Bryan by his real name. It wasn't until recently that WWE allowed top indie stars to continue to use the names that made them famous. While Prince Devitt became Finn Balor and El Generico became Sami Zayn, stars like Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, and AJ Styles were all allowed to use names that made them successful on the indie scene. One superstar whose name changed was Daniel Bryan, something alluded to by Dolph Ziggler in the original NXT. Referring to the future world champion as Daniel Bryanson, a play on his real name Bryan Danielson, the inside joke was lost on many members of the WWE universe who had never seen Bryan compete before he joined WWE. Number 11. Virgil's name was a rib. The career of Virgil will always be remembered as a punchline. After being forced to do the bidding of Ted DiBiase for years, his break from the $1 Million Man did little to elevate Virgil's stardom, with the former WWE and WCW star now best known for his lack of a crowd at autograph signings. But even before he started in WWE, Virgil was used as a joke and was given his name after the real name of Dusty Rhodes, who was at the time working as a booker for Jim Crockett Promotions. While this seems petty, JCP, which later became WCW, did get some payback on the WWE, once again using Virgil in the process, as when the Brawler joined WCW in the 1990s, his name was changed to Vincent, a clear dig at Mr. McMahon. Number 10. Matt Hardy promoted Ring of Honor in WWE. The firing of Matt Hardy in WWE in 2005 was a huge story at the time. Hardy had been the victim of a love triangle between himself, Lita, and Edge, with the WWE choosing to fire the future Woken superstar due to seeing the other two as bigger stars. This didn't sit well with fans who chanted "We want Matt" during Raws, and got just that when Hardy was able to sneak into the arena despite being signed to the budding Ring of Honor. Attacking Edge on Raw, Hardy was carried out, urging fans to watch ROH, and whilst fans may not have known about the new promotion before, it certainly helped put ROH on the map. Number 9. Diesel wore Shawn Michaels' shirt and referenced the KLIQ. In the early 90s, kayfabe was at an all-time high, and thanks to the lack of social media, fans knew very little about the personal lives of superstars. This all changed with the arrival of the KLIQ, as the group of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Diesel, Kevin Nash, and X-Pac pushed the envelope, hinting that the mix of heels and faces were friends. One of the more subtler nods to this friendship was when Big Daddy Cool wore an HBK shirt despite having feuded, and even said he was part of the KLIQ. Michaels started referring to his fans as the KLIQ and allowed Diesel's inside joke to air. Number 8. The origins of Rachel Evers. Rachel Ellering may be a second-generation superstar, but the WWE, for whatever reason, don't want the WWE universe to know. The daughter of Paul Ellering, Rachel has impressed in NXT and in the Mae Young Classic, though as Rachel Evers. While this may not be the name of her father, it is the name of the man who trained her, Lance Evers, who fans will know better as Lance Storm. Training at Storm's Academy in Canada, Evers has clearly learned from the best and has impressed plenty of fans in her WWE career thus far. Number 7. The ICOPRO banner at Raw 25. We all know that Vince McMahon likes large muscle-clad men, so it should come as no surprise that in the early 90s he produced ICOPRO, a line of supplements that were advertised during WWE broadcasts at the Manhattan Center. Whilst some stars such as Lex Luger swore by the substance, many despised it, with Bret Hart once saying he would give crates of the product away to people just to be rid of it. So when the WWE returned to the Manhattan Center for Raw 25, the WWE Universe got a blast from the past, as an ICOPRO banner was hung in the building, just like it had been during the early years of the company's flagship show. Number 6. Ziggler and The Miz recreated Punk's UFC loss. When CM Punk walked out of WWE in 2014, his absence sent shockwaves in the WWE. Since his departure, the WWE have done some pretty petty things against the Second City Savior, including firing him on his wedding day, though the company have stated this was a coincidence. Another petty dig at Punk came at Backlash 2016, when The Miz and Dolph Ziggler locked horns. Working together, the pair used a double leg takedown into a rear naked choke, the same hold that had beaten Punk in little time during his UFC fight against Mickey Gall. Number 5. The New Day's Mr. Bootyworth. The New Day have been entertaining fans for years, but one segment that fans were not sold on involved their unofficial mascot, Mr. Bootyworth. During the segment, the trio of superstars attempted to make pancakes for the mascot, only to be interrupted by Sheamus and Cesaro. The fun secret here is that Bootyworth was played by Dewey Foley, the son of Hall of Famer Mick Foley. Dewey currently works as an assistant backstage and hopes to become a full-time writer in the future. Using him on WWE TV must have been a huge joy for Mrs. Foley's grandson, and was a fun Easter egg only the most knowledgeable fans were able to spot. Number 4. The Big Show's name was a rib. When WWE signed the Giant away from WCW, it was literally one of the biggest signings of the time. While Show was still forced to work for WCW for several weeks, the writing was on the wall, as the WWE attempted to think of a name to debut their next huge star. When the possible name of the Titan was leaked, Eric Bischoff had fun with it, asking, "What kind of Titan is he?" in Show's last WCW appearance, where he got beat down by the NWO. Quickly changing his plan, Vince instead opted for the name The Big Show, a rib of Turner Network's TBS channel, where WCW Thunder was dwindling in the ratings. Number 3. AJ Lee wore a Bayley shirt. When AJ Lee left WWE in 2015, fans speculated what caused her sudden departure, with many thinking it was due to the poor treatment of her husband CM Punk. Having her final match on the Raw after WrestleMania 31, Lee participated in a 6-woman tag, though it was her outfit that made fans remember the match. Appearing in a Bayley shirt, only a few fans picked up on the reference, as the huggable one was still striving to make a name for herself in NXT. Lee clearly saw potential in Bayley, and rightly so, as she would win the NXT Women's title later that year before joining Raw herself in 2016. Number 2. Linda McMahon's theme music. The McMahons have always had iconic theme songs, from Shane McMahon's Here Comes the Money to Vince's iconic No Chance in Hell. But while she may not have been an on-screen staple like the rest of her family, Linda McMahon has had her own theme song throughout her WWE tenure. Older WWE fans may recognize her theme as the original theme for WrestleMania, as the upbeat, jovial tone of the song juxtaposes her husband's Wicked theme perfectly. Whilst some fans may only know the song as Linda's theme, having the theme for WrestleMania as your song is a nice Easter egg for older generations. Number 1. CM Punk's Post-it Note. Despite once being one of WWE's most popular stars, the sudden departure of CM Punk after the 2014 Royal Rumble will be what many fans remember the Second City Savior for. In the years since he left, WWE have gone out of their way to remove Punk from the history books, including having superstars like Pete Dunne, Asuka, and Brock Lesnar all have longer title reigns than the 434-day reign Punk enjoyed as WWE Champion. One particularly petty way the company has tried to bury Punk came during a documentary on The Ultimate Warrior, where a poster for the 2014 Rumble appeared in the background. While the poster featured plenty of superstars promoting the titular 30-man match, Punk's face was covered by a blank post-it note, a clear sign WWE wants nothing to do with the straight-edge superstar. Well guys, that's our list. Can you think of any other important details that only hardcore fans might have noticed? Drop us a comment below and let us know. If you like this video, don't forget to check out our previous video, 14 funny and interesting WWE gimmick changes that never happened. Also check out our other high-rated videos by clicking at the upper right-hand corner or down in the description field. If you indeed like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and that bell icon so you don't miss a single new video. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and as always, thank you for watching.